Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Metaworld News. This is the news highlights about the metaverse and social virtual worlds for the week ending 25th of February. Yes, got it right. 2018. Very good. So, all that taken care of. Fairly short news this week, I think, although there are quite a lot of different bits and pieces. My main Twitter feed you'll find at twitter.com/malburns, MALBURNS, all one word. And most of the posts, well, there's only about 3 or 4 here. You can find the links on that if you don't pick them up from the chat here. My first link is 5 days ago. It's a post at uploadvr.com. And the title of the article is "Consciousness is a Concept Album Fusing VR and Music." Now, we often think about, the worlds as our music. But this is actually a two-piece band working on an album, what they call it, LP, which is a bit weird. Because you'll experience the whole thing in a VR headset. It's not just 360 videos, but it's an interactive VR experience that takes listeners on a journey, replicating and expanding upon the feeling of owning a physical album. It intends to be the first of a series of LPs that you listen to inside the VR headset, recapturing the essence of long listening sessions rather than streaming individual songs.
Say, Mel, I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't think we're getting audio out on the live feed. And I'm...
Shall we cut and restart?
Yeah, or? I think we ought to. But I'm watching a... I mean, I should be hearing that, and I'm not hearing it.
I wonder if anybody's in the channel there commenting.
Yeah, there's another person watching.
I've got an eye in for Bill Blight saying he hears us. So
he does? Okay.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Right. Never mind then. Sorry.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. And thanks to Bill Blight there for pinging me in Discord to tell me that he hears us. Wonderful. I'll be getting onto Discord in a minute, actually. Anyway, as I said, hopefully you caught that. Uploadvr.com, an article on this a VR music album, basically, called Consciousness. Right, moving forward a little bit, well, quite a bit actually, it's about 3 days ago. Uploadvr.com yet again have an article about high fidelity taking us dancing in a virtual reality club. More and more of this, the up-and-coming release of Steven Spielberg's adaptation of the Ready Player One novel, which is an excellent novel if you've never read it, is kind of pretty good launch point for virtual worlds as we know them at the moment. And I actually I was a guest in on a midweek program done by Dratz de Prey, which was broadcast in Science Space, and I was there with Adam Fisby at Science Space and Hamlet Orr from New World Notes, and Strawberry Singh, that's the other one who joined us. And we were very much talking about this kind of thing, especially the Ready Player One movie, because the trailers for it, unlike CSI and a lot of TV shows and tie-ins that have happened with Second Life or other virtual worlds, this is a film that isn't so much, it isn't a tie-in with VR and virtual worlds. The film itself is about the whole concept. So it's not like an add-on. It's going to be one of those movies that I think when you see when it opens in March will actually really make you understand what literally living in a 3D world is like as an extension, of your real life, to a lesser or greater degree. And I suspect in the movie you'll find it's the greater degree, but that's another issue. Anyway, uploadvr.com have a little post about this, and the post actually links to High Fidelity, which is talking about dancing in high fidelity, basically. Gosh golly, what a revolution. Right. Digital trends. Has an interesting post too. Virtual reality training ground helps robots prepare for the real world. This is really rather curious because although consumer adoption of these headsets and things that are coming out is probably not, now all the geeks and gamers have it. It tends to be becoming an enterprise or maybe an arcade type thing. But what's sort of interesting is they're now putting robots into virtuality to train them for the real world, if that makes any sense. So instead of a surgeon going into virtuality to just practice on patients as if he was in the real world, he's free to tear their insides out and kill them because they're not real, but he'll learn to do the job, so when he comes to his real operation, he knows how to do it. Well, they're taking the same attitude with robots. They're thinking, well, they'll make the robots learn their interactions with humans and stuff by putting them in a simulation that accurately portrays the way they will have to interact. So curious sort of stuff. But anyway, you'll find out the digital trends. Right, voicesoffvr.com, a regular podcast. There's probably been 3 or 4 during the week. I think I've only got one this week, which is number 625. And the subject is decentralizing identity in VR with HoloNet and self-sovereign identity. And this has to do with specifications for an open web VR platform and stuff like that. But the implications of the discussion in the podcast obviously bear on any platform that's a virtual world and is concerned with how you handle user identities and things like that. So an interesting one there. A couple of days ago, VR Scouts, that's VRScout or one word.com. Scout is in... I can't remember, Boy Scouts, VRScout.com. A hands-on look at the state of input in VR. Again, this is a kind of summary article that goes into PlayStation controllers, Oculus touch controllers, the rest of it. It's an overview of the state of the art in input in VR is probably what it means to say. So a general catch-up article there. And I think this is the final one from that feed, in fact. Pluto wants to become like the Discord of VR, and it's now available. Now, I'm going to mention Discord in shortly in a separate way. The screenshots of this, I don't really know. There's a video that goes with it there. It reminds me of the sort of thing I maybe see in VR chat or the odd little clip you get from Facebook Spaces or whatever they're going to try and take over the world with there. Basically, it's somebody who uses Discord for gaming chat and stuff like that. But Pluto is basically a similar sort of thing, but actually in 3D. And it only works with actual 3D, as far as I can tell, in people in headsets. It's sort of, it allows people in... I'm not sure about this, but for example, if you've logged in via Steam to a world or something... Oh, yeah, I mean, it describes that as a good example. Pluto adds an overlay icon from the Steam VR menu next to Stream Desktop and Settings, and it makes it easy to adjust your settings. And basically, you might be in one world like VR Chat, or Rec Room or Big Screen is talking about those. And the overlay basically allows you to communicate across the different platforms you might be running from inside Steam, that kind of thing. So worthy of a mention. It's something different. Whether it takes off, Well, we don't know, do we? We don't know the future at all. Now, we do have another Twitter stream, which is more for this program, really, just called Metaworld News. And I have a few things there to... Oh, I've got more than a few things here for once. Okay. It's bigger than the other one. What's going on here? Right. Okay, a report from Hypergrid Business. I may have mentioned this last week. It was 7 days ago. Hypergridbusiness.com. Look at the open sim grids. Users and land are both up in the statistics this month. In other words, there's more regions and there's more users than ever in open simulator worlds, which of course have the benefit of being all connected together for the most part by the hypergrid. Right, hgsafari.blogspot.com. This is Ember's blog about hypergrid safaris. And this week has been the start of something that is actually continuing called Cornflakes Week. And there have been lots of events. Cornflakes is, the week is actually a tribute to somebody who's now no longer with us, who's been very influential and fondly remembered in virtual worlds. And so they have this sort of whole celebration week full of primary colours, is the way I think of it, but a whole lot going on. And there have been quite a lot of posts coming up about that during the week. Okay, Frida Frostbite, blogspot.com. That's FREDA FROSTBITE. Blogspot.com. This post is views of the Floridana Library, all prepped for Hypergrid Safari. Now, actually, the Safari never made it there this week, but the article is still worth looking at. It's just got some sort of pictures of a destination that will presumably be on one of the Safari destinations before long. Frida Frostbite is the name of the avatar that's the curator and librarian. And it's a region called, it's a grid called the EncoreEscape.com, port 8002. And the, if you can figure out what I'm saying here, the region is called Siesta space Key space 2, but written with, the Latin way, II, as it were. Okay. Cars, Coins and Canvas. This is again hgsafari.blogspot.com. So Sir Ember's roundup of this week's safari in the places we did end up at, and explaining the postponing of that one I just mentioned. Now, New World Notes, which is Hamlet All's, used to be a Second Life blog, but it's now pitched as a Virtual Worlds blog. nwn.blogs.com. And it's basically a post on behalf of the folks at Science Space. They are hiring virtual photographers and videographers to work at Science Space. So it's sort of Hamlet did it's just like a little advertising article for that. All good stuff. RoadToVR.com. As opposed to, it says VR Chat, which is yet another 3D communications program. Virality runs its course after 3 million installs. Healthy concurrent usership remains. We were actually mentioning this in the talk in the week. It seems VR Chat has really had accelerated growth, but it seems to have plateaued. And at least the users that are in it seem to be maintaining themselves. As concurrency is sort of flatlined. So it doesn't seem to be growing anymore, but it's still got a pretty healthy user base. I must say I've been in, with difficulty I've been in there a few times, and, I don't know. If you want to chat about VR, then get a VR chat. If you want to chat about anything else, really, there's a clique to it, however, but any clique with 3 million people in it is probably got to be taken fairly seriously. Okay, also for New World Notes, so nwn.blogs.com. Virtual World developers visit to Linden Lab, hints at big updates to Sansara's Second Life coming soon. heard quite a bit about this in the week, but nobody is telling. All we actually know is that of late, Pete Linden has moved on. I think he's moved on to, I'm not sure where, but now the head of product of Samsar has left the lab too, and nobody quite knows who's in charge of Samsar anymore and who's handling public relations for Linden Lab generally. One of them I know has moved to Facebook. Go figure. I'm not sure where the other one's gone. But this particular post is about a friend of ours. He's been on some of our shows quite a lot. A chap called Will Burns. He's vice chair for the IEEE Virtual World Standards Group, and he popped into Linden Labs and had a good old chat with Ebby Alterberg, who's the CEO there. Right. Also, this is an odd one. I'm going to have to read it out by hand. It's vankh.bashora.com. So okay, vankh.bashora.com. And chat with your Second Life's friends in high fidelity. This is a bridging system where you can wear a HUD in, I guess, Second Life. And actually, you get interlinked grid talk between Second Life and high fidelity. And I actually raised a point when this was posted, and I gather that equally this could connect. We need to be configured and programmed, but the same system could be used to connect OpenSIM or Hypergrid to say SciSpace, or high fidelity, or Second Life, if you see what I mean. Prototype system for connecting friends together on different grids. I think we stand a bit more chance with Discord than we do with this, but nevertheless, it is developments. Right, also a post, is one of those complicated links. It's actually a YouTube embed. So I'm going to put that away. Twitter.com/Metaworld News, or one word. I posted a day ago that it's an embed of a program that I was actually on, almost by accident actually, with Drasta Dupre, Hamlet Orr, Adam Frisbee, myself, and Strawberry Singh talking about VR, and it was filmed in SciSpace by Drasta as well. And I also did some test filming myself there, by the way, and unused because I was on air beforehand. And that I think we might possibly see a bit more coming out of that now. It's a bit more manageable, should we say. Right, moving on. I don't believe this. We have another post, nwn.blogs.com, New World Notes again. OpenSIM community devotes a week to deceased developer named Cornflakes. And this is an article written for Hamlet's blog by Pathfinder Lester, no less. So Cornflakes Week getting a lot of PR. And VWBPE.org. This is Virtual World's Best Practices in Education. Post called It's a Date for VWBPE 2018. Basically, you can add all their events and stuff to your calendar. Basically, the full agenda for that conference is now up and online. And we this time next week, we will be having the convener of that conference, Kevin Feenan, on our World Review show, which is the show here that immediately follows this one. So that's it for the Metaworld News section. I'm just going to have a quickie look at posts in Google+, but yes, there's nothing there that is really too much, except for, of course, the fact that I've been posting all over the place links to an app called Discord. So that is kind of news from the feed, so to speak. We probably going to discuss Discord a little bit on In-World Review after this show, where we'll be joined by Ferd Beckhausen and Pathfinder Lester. We'll leave that till then. But I actually started a Discord server, a new Discord server, other than Metaworld's private one, during the week called Hypergrid Explorers and Creators. And I sent a few links out and stuff like that, and slowly people are sort of connecting their Discord accounts to this server. And we seem to be very rapidly getting a sort of whole hypergrid-wide community going. And anybody who's on the hypergrid knows that it's very easy to teleport places, and usually fairly easy to send an IM to somebody you know. But getting groups working, especially hypergrid-wide, it's not too good at that. So having this open Discord channel for anybody who likes hypergridding around, basically, is the idea. And, also enables you to publish to a group as well. And for those of you more old-fashioned about these things, I mean, basically Discord is two things. One is it's an alternative that's arguably better than Skype. And especially these days when everybody's getting very disillusioned with the behavior of Skype and its parent company, dare I say. But also it combines that facility, your friends list for making video calls or instant messages. It actually combines that with servers that you can subscribe to. And the servers are actually, they have a very, I liken them to IRC, Internet Relay Chat. They're a kind of modern version of IRC, but much more graphically manageable using the interface and stuff than the old IRC clients used to be. So the IRC is still going, of course. Many people use it, but Discord has its advantages there. And to add insult to injury, or should I say praise to praise, we are actually at this very moment broadcasting the audio component of this show through Discord, rather than Skype, which we tend to do. So we hope the sound quality is as good as you got on Skype, or maybe, dare I say it, better. Do let us know, folks. Okay, that's about it as far as I can think of for the news. So I'm going to hand over to James here, James Outloud, who's just going to give us a brief roundup on what's happening with the Open Simulator and developer folk. So, James.
Yeah, thanks, Mel. First of all, just on Discord, I'm still figuring out a little bit of the interface, and so I think I might have a little bit of overmodulation at one point. So apologies to any audio people out there, but we'll fine-tune that in the next few minutes. And then back to the OpenSim developers office hours. I did attend last Tuesday, and it was actually well attended, a good group of people. And the meeting began by discussing an interesting issue with prims and textures, that textures weren't picking up prims weren't picking up textures on a couple of faces. And so I wasn't really clear, could it be something that was server side? And so I think that's going to be investigated by some more people. Discussion then moved a little bit more to a fix for meshes. That someone said, thank you for fixing the meshes, and nobody knew what the change was that was made. So that was a great moment. Yeah.
I will accept your thanks for I didn't know about. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, we'll gladly take it. And then what was interesting is that the discussion moved quite a bit, and I'll mention again that the full chat for the meeting is posted on the OpenSim developers website at opensimulator.org, about what obligation do developers have to be backward compatible. And so there was quite a bit of input and opinion on that topic.
I bet there was.
That was pretty good. Good to read. Nothing really new in that discussion. I think it's all positions we've heard before, but the conflict of being innovative but being stable.
It's a kind of it tends to be open source or not. I mean, it tends to be a kind of pattern in software that eventually things develop so far forward that they can't be backwards compatible. But it's not really a kind of incremental thing. You don't expect a new version of software to be totally incompatible with all the files and all the stuff you've done in the old one. Wow. So I think it's a very relevant point. If maybe OpenSim version 12 won't be backwards compatible with version 6, but would you expect it to be by that time? Maybe not, but version 11 or 10 or 9, the more recent ones, you would think that would be a priority.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed, and just last week we mentioned that there was some work with a new, and I have scripting engine in my notes. I mean, it's not scripting at I think the level of Open Simulator language or Linden language, LSL, Linden Scripting language, but we were just checking to see if anyone had tested it on their grids, and there wasn't any response to that. But I think that's something that we're still looking at. Again, that was related to the engine being compatible with newer versions of .NET and similar libraries in Unix. So that about finishes up the meeting. We ended pretty much on time because the moderator had to leave.
Fair enough. They always do. It's called running away before the egg hits the fan.
That's right.
Okay, well, thanks for that, James. And that's it from us, actually. We are slightly running late today, I've just realised. So in literally about 20 minutes, we'll be on there again with the InWorld Review. So if you're watching this channel live, we're going to go black on you. We're going to fade to black, but after 20 minutes or so, we'll fade to virtuality again, as it were. Okay, with that, we will see you next week. Same time, same place. And have a good week, folks. Bye.